It's finally out! Star Wars The Last Jedi. And let me get in straight. I loved it. From beginning to end. Daisy Ridley's performance was just terrific. She really carries the whole film, along with Adam Driver, to whom she's got a sort of bonding. And speaking of Adam Driver, his performance was just awesome as well. He topped even, in my opinion, his own performance in The Force Awakens. And I must say, the idea of them being connected that way is a pretty great one. And how both were trying to convince each other respectively, to turn to the bright side or the dark side. Mark Hamill's entire performance was fantastic, and surely the right decision to letting him show that pessimistic after he has gone through. It was a very risky decision, but in the end, it really paid off. And aside that, it makes totally sense to me, the way his character turns eventually out. Carrie Fisher's performance was not less superb. The way she performed wasn't that different as her performances seen in the Star Wars trilogy films. However, her performance shown in The Last Jedi was for sure far more better than in The Force Awakens. And that's not because of her, but obviously because of her screen time presence based on the script. She's gotten this much more to offer, and she delivered it on a majestic fashion. Oscar Isaac was in this great as well. He's got a fair amount of screen presence and relevancy as well. He's kinda the Han Solo of this new Star Wars trilogy, and I can't wait to see more of him in the next one and further ones. John Boyega did an amazing job too. I like the way they woke him up in this, and I like the way he meets the character Rose, performed by Kelly Mary Tran, introducing her backstory too. Benicio Del Toro's character has his certain reason to be in the movie, but more for the sake of the plot. He really didn't bring up much out of that character, if you ask me. Besides being a underworld code breaker, to me he's more like a smuggler, with no real relevancy to the plot whatsoever. Laura Dern delivered as Admiral Holdo. A nice job, plot-wise serving as a deceiving element at first, and then as an heroic one. Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux comes through in this far more better than in The Force Awakens. They used his character the way they should have used him in The Force Awakens, as a comedic relief, so to speak, instead of being a real frightening character, which he is not. Andy Serkis as Supreme Leader Snoke. He isn't to be seen much, really. He left though a great impression nonetheless. His performance reminded me very much Sidious, Emperor Palpatine, but I'm glad that they didn't entirely copy those particular moments from Return of the Jedi. And the CGI work looks just beyond amazing. It looks extremely close to photorealism. Gwendolyn Christie as Captain Phasma. I've got to say that I am disappointed the way they handled this character, this wasted character. I didn't read the books, but as far as I know, Captain Phasma has got her huge relevancy in those books. So I don't quite get why they treated her with that less importance. Yoda, Yoda. It was so nice to see him on the screen yet again, alongside with Luke, getting almost very nostalgic, seeing both speaking to each other the way they used to in The Empire Strikes Back. And this time we get to see not a CGI character of him, but a puppet. At first I thought that maybe it was a CGI character looking like a puppet, but then I realized that it really was a puppet, and it looks great. Even though I liked the CGI version of Yoda in the prequels, I thought he looked very photorealistic. The puppet version eventually beats them all in regards to photorealism and overall performance. BB-8 has got its own little moments in this as well. It didn't have that much of importance, plot-wise anyways, as it was the case in The Force Awakens. But anyway, I enjoyed that little droid very much. Now let's come to the cameos. A few of them anyways. We see Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One, who serves as a resistance fighter next to the guy who tastes a bit of the surface nearly the end of the film and says, it's salt. Edgar Wright was in The Last Jedi as well, as so was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He gave his voice to a character named Slow and Low. Warwick Davis, a very well-known name within the Star Wars film franchise, was also in it as a character named Wody Bin. Tom Hardy as well was in it as a stormtrooper. And finally Prince William, as so Prince Harry, got their cameo roles supposedly as stormtroopers as well. Rian Johnson delivered a very risky but awesome story, filled with fun, funny, entertaining, thrilling action scenes and moments, with of course some similarities to Empire and Return of the Jedi. Compelling and exciting characters for the most part. Great looking cinematography, stunning visual effects, majestic music, very neat editing, apart for two scenes in which we see Rey exploring the Force, taught by Luke. There are cutting mistakes just after Rey gets out from her Force vision. And the second one is just after Luke lies down on that stone, after that majestic confrontation between him and Kylo Ren. From one angle, he stands up, coming up from behind the stone, and from another angle, we see him on the stone already, rising up and getting on a sitting position. The most beautiful visual and emotional moments are Leia using the Force after she has been sucked out into space, floating through space, the Resistance's cruiser jumping into hyperspace, ramming against that huge mega-class Star Destroyer. That looks amazing. The final confrontation between Luke and Kylo Ren. And that very short final scene showing that kid wearing the Rebel/Resistance ring Rose gave to him, letting us all know a new generation of sensitive Force users are underway, forming potentially a new generation of Jedi Order. There are of course many more great moments I love. Now let's come to the flaws or unclear things. For instance, Rey diving into the dark pit and getting no answers, not even a hint eventually. I really expected to get at least a little hint about her backstory, or just a little something. Instead we get to see her own reflection. Similar to the scene from The Empire Strikes Back, in which we see Luke Skywalker confronting his inner self, keeping Poe Dameron in the dark about Leia's and the Vice Admiral's plan is also something I don't get. I mean, Poe Dameron might be a overreacting, impulsive guy, but he isn't stupid after all. I think they have chosen to handle him that way because of plot reasons. Because the plot required a kind of short conflict between Vice Admiral Holdo and Poe Dameron. And for letting us think that Holdo might be an infiltrated character. From my point of view, Finn's and Rose's relationship leading to a loved one at the end comes through kind of forced. I didn't buy it. I like how they initially meet and the dynamic between them. But the way Rose falls in love with Finn, I couldn't entirely buy it. I think in reality it needs a bit more than that kind of adventure of a situation to fall in love with someone. So I think they should have established their romantic relationship on the next one. Maz Kanata's appearance doesn't make that sense. It felt too kind of forced, just for giving us a clue, a hint on how to get from point A to point B. Oh my god, Snoke's sudden death. Even though I liked it, I ask myself, how could Kylo Ren possibly trick the apparent mighty supreme leader Snoke? How managed Kylo Ren to blind him in order to keeping him from seeing and feeling his actual intentions and feelings? Did Kylo Ren manage to distract Snoke maybe that much to deceive him? Snoke's sudden death was a real surprise, by the way. I really didn't see that coming. Him to die that quickly. I expected him to die in the third one, maybe. Another thing which bothers me a bit was Luke's fear, which brought him to nearly kill Ben Solo, although I do understand his motivations and feelings. In any case, I think Luke Skywalker should have been wise enough trying to find another way to get to him. And what exactly led Kylo Ren to be that upset about his father? All unanswered things which could have been answered in this film, in my opinion. And now my upshot. Overall, a truly fantastic, engaging, exciting, fun, emotional, and action-packed film with some well-balanced humor and once again an amazing music, as we are always used to get by Grandmaster John Williams, with some flaws in it, plot-wise, editing-wise, which though didn't interrupt the watching experience at all, which is the main thing to me at any rate. So yeah, I left the theater on a very content fashion. Now, based on my review, you can gladly make your own rating at this point, because I won't deliver one. I'm just gonna make like this. And now to you guys, what did you think of this film? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Or did you hate it? This could also be the case. Not everyone could be okay with the way they handled this film, the way they handled Luke Skywalker or Carrie Fisher as Leia. Everyone's got an opinion, and that's more than fair, I think. What is yours? I'm very curious to know. In that sense, guys, whatever you think, whatever you feel, let me know that all below. And thank you very much for watching. Once again, it's very much appreciated. If you like this video and its content, just thumbs up. Oh, and if you wish and if you can, please consider to help the channel by just becoming a Patreon. Go check out patreon.com Lawrence Beyond. There you'll find my background story, my motivation, and the pledgeable perks. You really would make a substantial difference within my life and respectively on the course direction of this channel. And of course, feel free to subscribe if you're new to this channel. Stay tuned, go beyond, and always be well. And may the Force be with you.